Okay, guys. www.talkbackworld.net, where the real fan roams. Darthbishop.
Wake up.
We're gonna knock out, last but not least, Ghost Rider.
The Spirit of Vengeance.
Ooh, so the last time we left Ghost Rider in film was a film that looked like a sci-fi channel film for me. It fell flat.
It was like a turd.
It was just
it was bad.
horrible.
Nick Cage. Oh.
Never Right actually
He liked it.
He owns it. His son watches it every weekend.
God.
It's horrendous. Okay, well, do you guys remember The Punisher and how we got like the PG version of The Punisher, and we even got a PG version of the Ghost Rider? Well, now we're getting the Marvel Knights. This is the Punisher Warzone version of Ghost Rider. This is like the nasty nitty gritty for adult porn style Ghost Rider. But may also not be. It may just miss the mark, I feel.
Yeah.
What was cool was the panel started out with
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, the man.
Yep. And
Malcolm Gray.
Yep. And Malcolm Gray. They all came out. Nicolas Cage was there, and they actually showed footage of how the directors from the Crank films, Jonah Hex, how they film, what their techniques are. These guys are bloody mad. Let me tell you something. These guys, they get on like rollerblades and they hold on to a camera and yeah, I mean,
going
these
about
guys,
60, 70 miles per hour.
These guys are stunt guys, directors. They actually put themselves out in harm's way to get a shot.
Yeah.
And the payoff is pretty fucking sweet. There's one point where they freeze the frame and there's a guy on a wire, two guys on a wire, up in midair, and you would think that the one over a cliff, and you would think that the one over here was the stunt guy and the one over here is the director, but they point. They're like, stunt guy, point, director. And you're like, what? How is that the director when they're holding a heavy-ass camera trying to get a shot? And but these guys, they just know how to place a camera in good places. So that's what I initially thought. After the footage showed, it didn't look cartoony.
No, not at all.
The aesthetics were very grimy, very hellish. I actually liked it. You couldn't see the features of the Ghost Rider that well because it was just like fire, and the skull was kind of like dark and burning. It just wasn't colorful. It wasn't like I said, the Ghost Rider from before was very family orientated for kids, if you will. And this one, it looks like it's just don't even bring your kids to this. This is gonna be really this is gonna be the harder. This is gonna be the dark version, which it should be. That is Dark Rider.
They even said it. I mean, Ghost Rider's power is he eats people's souls.
That's right.
That's his superpower. That's what attracted us to it. This guy is a badass motherfucker.
Yeah. I
mean, even Nick Cage, who was there, who said, look, the first one, he's kind of like, he's just discovered his powers, he's still a bit naive. This one takes off about 5 years later. He's now a bitter, sarcastic, and bastard. Basically, it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing.
Yeah.
And what made it also interesting was the fact that Nick Cage said, in the first film, I didn't actually get to play the Ghost Rider when he transformed. It was all CGI. Whereas this time, they let me play him. They let me get my Cobra moves. Nick Cage is a psycho. Nick Cage is a guy who's taken far too many drugs. In all honesty, he looks like he's taken far too many drugs.
Yeah. But you know what, guys? Like I said, I mean, I think it looked almost like the presentation, the panel was like they were treating it as a filler. I felt like it was almost right. I don't know. I felt like I wasn't really getting.
Everything was a filler until Spider-Man. Let's be honest.
And Tintin, and then you had Spider-Man. Everything was in between was a filler. But this was like the footage looked interesting, not quite too sold. And some guy called out the bike. Like that's not.
What happened to the Hell Cycle?
They're like, what happened to the Hell Cycle? What happened to the bike? And I think the director actually
got pissed.
Got a little pissed. And was like, well, listen, anything that the Ghost Rider touches becomes the Hell Cycle. It kind of like something like that. He said, right? Like anything that he puts in his possession will now morph into. So it doesn't have to be the Hell Cycle. It could be a different kind of bike. It doesn't have to be that. So the bike is very different. It's not like this big handlebars coming out far. It's very enclosed. It's very tight. And I think they did that more for stunt wise because Nicolas Cage got to ride the bike, and I think they didn't want. I think it looked for aesthetics. I think it looked better, I guess, but it's not. It's just grimy. I mean, you get the melting tar on the bike, and anything that the Ghost Rider touches begins to melt like that. It's dirty. It's grimy. It's gonna be ultra violent. There's a scene where
I'm not interested.
There's a scene where a guy has a machine gun, and he's throwing rounds inside the Ghost Rider's mouth, and the Ghost Rider's like, ah, and he's like eating it, you know, go ahead, just give me all your bullets. And all of a sudden it's a pause, and all of a sudden the Ghost Rider, with fire, spits out all the bullets and like sprays it back at the guy. I thought that was kind of pretty cool, but. And there's a scene with the chains when he would swing it and rip guys in half, and that actually did not look bad.
It looked I'll be honest with you, it looked cliche. I'm not really a fan of Ghost Rider. I would be a fan of that sort of action, but it didn't. I didn't feel like it was one of these films that I'm going to go watch. Not even to rent. I'm just not really a fan of Ghost Rider, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just looked, like you said, as a filler.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, Idris Elba was there, and he said that somebody asked him if they loved him in Thor, and what would he do? What other superhero would he do? And he did what
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. He said he would do Luke Cage if the fans want to see. Everybody cheered like, yes, we want to see Luke Cage, and so hopefully he gets that. Man, that'll be really cool. All right, guys, I think that's it.
Site www.talkbackworld.net, where real fans roam. It's Wake Up and Darthbishop signing out. Take care.
Later, guys.